welcome back to Pokemon Platinum. We're still traveling to the next town that has the next gym or other plot important event. Exciting.
You just
So we
summed
gotta
up
revive.
Pokemon.
Yep.
So if I'm gonna, I guess, like, do people want me to nitpick? I don't know. Do they just want me to stay silent if they don't want? Whatever. I'm gonna nitpick anyway because I don't know what else to do with my life. There's a lot of empty space in Gen 4. Is a big problem that I have with many of the routes. Is that they feel very empty. Like there's not, like I don't know.
There's not a lot of visual detail to mix things up, and there's not a lot of stuff going on in that empty space.
Yeah. Like, I mean, this particular route isn't that bad because they have, like, the different elevations, so that's fine. But, like, especially, like, the flower field, for example, it was just like, okay, the whole field is full of flowers. Is there anything else to do in there? No, so it's just a big area of empty space.
Here's the thing. A big area of empty space that's full of flowers is a nice thing when there's visual detail enough to make that, you know, nice to look at. The field of flowers in this game is just kind of like, wow, I'm standing in a children's drawing that is strangely grid-like. Okay.
Yeah. And, I mean, granted, the empty space is... Some amount of empty negative space is necessary in video games because you can't have everything be so compact as to otherwise, you know, everything's smushed together. There's no break moments, and so having like
You can't have something behind every waterfall.
Oh, but it hurts me. Oh man, what's this one's name? Lucas.
Lucas. Darling.
Do you fight Lucas/Dawn in this ever?
No, I don't think so.
So
Well, we got the dowsing machine, which you're not going to be using.
they did the alternate...
Even though the dowsing machine is actually pretty good in this game.
So they did the other protagonist is a character in the game universe thing and didn't do anything with it.
He's like the
No.
professor's
Assistant.
but he doesn't like do anything.
Yeah, okay. Well,
Also, how can you not tell that this guy is the bad guy? He's literally wearing the other guy's uniform. Okay. All right.
He's not hurting me.
All right then. Are there repels by this point in the game?
Yeah, I usually don't get repels though, because I'm editing, so it doesn't make a difference to the viewer.
Yeah, but you don't have to deal with widdly every 10 seconds. So
Man, we're in 3D graphics and we still have to deal with the whole weird tiling thing that comes with cliff walls.
Yeah, unfortunately, like, I get what they're trying to do. They're trying to have a multi-layered environment going on here, but again, it's early DS 3D, and so it makes it look very stilted.
Bad.
Yeah. And I mean, Gen 5 does kind of have a lot of areas like this as well, and they've aged not much better.
Well, it's like, okay, I keep bringing up Xenogears in this context, and that's because Xenogears looks amazing even today. But, like, the environments were PlayStation 1 3D, right? And apart from the issue of the camera sometimes getting caught behind solid objects that did not go transparent the way they would do in modern games, the environments were pretty intricate when they weren't repetitive metal hallways anyway. The game was rushed in certain areas, I'm sorry. But when the environments looked nice, they sure as hell looked nice. And... you know, that was PlayStation 1 3D. It's not hard to pull off.
PlayStation 1 and DS had kind of the same level of graphical fidelity. The DS did not have nearly as much storage space. So, you know, they couldn't pull off this. Why are you trying to catch a Bibarel when you already have a Bidoof?
Because I need a second HM slave because of how many there are in this game.
My point is the mountain cliff sides could have looked a hell of a lot better than this with very little effort.
Yeah, it's, you know, there's only so much that I can try to pick on the graphics, because they're not really, the game looking kind of bland isn't really my biggest issue with it. It's still that the game feels sluggish, and granted, Pokemon Platinum is definitely much better than Diamond and Pearl, in terms of stuff feeling sluggish. It's not. Oh my God, are you naming it like Tedoof 2 or something?
Tedoof Senior.
Okay, all right, that's funny. But so what was I saying? All right, Platinum is definitely better than the original Diamond and Pearl in terms of how slow everything felt. Things still feel very sluggish in this game, and this is actually a problem that Heart Gold and Soul Silver share too, because those games run on this engine, and I'm not gonna lie, it makes it hard to even go back to those where the content in those games is amazing. Like, I prefer the content to those drastically to the content in this, but the engine itself is still so rough, and individual small things like, oh, the ball coming out of the animation for the ball coming out, being thrown out, or the walking speed, or, you know, how long it takes to save and stuff like that. It's, again, a lot of stuff that sounds like nitpicks, and, you know, they are nitpicks. I won't beat around the bush there, but it makes the game not as fun to play, because especially when you compare Gen 3 to Gen 4, because Gen 1 and Gen 2, you know, they're 8-bit games, so they inherently kind of move a little bit slower. There's no run button or anything like that. Gen 3 technically runs around at a breakneck pace. You know, everything feels zippy and fast and crisp when you play it, and then there's just the kind of a sluggish sort of feeling when you go to Gen 4, which makes which kind of hinders the game feel. And it's not like the game controls badly, it's just it feels off.
It's hard to make a Pokemon game control badly.
I get what you mean. Like, I haven't played Gen 3 specifically, but when I played Leaf Green and Fire Red, everything
that's
felt,
Gen 3, so...
Yeah, it's Gen 3's engine. Everything felt snappy,
Yeah.
you know? And I think snappy is a good way to go for a turn-based RPG in particular, but that might be my Persona 5 fan speaking.
Yeah, I should mention before, because people are definitely going to bring this up in the comments. Yes, you can speed things up by turning off the battle animations. No, that is not a fix or an excuse.
That just kind of like makes everything fast but boring, doesn't it?
Yeah, basically, yeah, because it's not...
yeah, if I want to see sprites that do nothing but blink at me, I'll go play an RPG on the Master System or something. I'll go play Phantasy Star 1.
Like, even the sprites in Phantasy Star 1 look pretty nice, all things considered.
Oh,
There's
yeah,
actually on the Switch, the version of Phantasy Star 1 is actually really, really good.
There's a version of Phantasy Star 1 on the Switch?
Yes, there's a mode on it which increases the golden XP you have and gives you a map as well. And it's like, and makes that game actually playable. It's amazing.
Why have I never heard about this before? Where is it? How much does it cost?
It's I think it's called like Phantasy Star Ages, and it's definitely less than $10. I think it's like maybe 7 or 8. But it's like, it's a version of that game that's actually good.
Lewis, if you're going to go get that, you can't ask me for lunch money again.
I'll get it later this week when I get paid.
What I need to play though is Phantasy Star 4, which is apparently the best one. But Phantasy Star,
you'll find it on like any goddamn Genesis collection. I'm pretty sure it's like on Steam as well.
Yeah, so. I mean, it's on my to-do list. Like,
it's just like, you know, most Genesis collections that come out have Phantasy Stars 2, 3, and 4 because they're on the Genesis, but not 1. Like, the only Genesis collection I can think of that has Phantasy Star 1 on it is Sonic's Ultimate Genesis collection on PS3. And that one just has, like, some Master System and arcade games that you can unlock by fulfilling certain conditions, and Phantasy Star 1 was one of them.
Yeah, well, Phantasy Star is on all of the Genesis collections because it's like the only RPG on Genesis. Like, there's Shining Force, which is strategy RPG. Which
Shining Force was Fire Emblem back when they weren't releasing Fire Emblem in the West. So yeah.
So, but it's just like if you liked RPGs, you didn't own a Genesis.
Oh, there's Shining in the Darkness.
Oh man. You can't
That's
shine
an
in the
RPG.
Darkness because shining requires light to hit you, so it's not possible.
It certainly is an RPG that exists.
So yeah, poor Genesis RPG fans. Like they missed out on basically everything. So,
yeah.
Yep.
You're not wrong.
Oh, Ryan, I liked the Pokemon I'm in the bike and trying to get into the door dance that you took off. I do that all the time.
Just get off the bike.
Oh my gosh, are we gonna make Poffins?
No, this is the contest hall.
Yeah, I know. This is where you gotta make Poffins.
No, you make Poffin somewhere else in this town.
Okay, what are Poffins? Because the first thing that you said that I thought when you said that all excited like was like some kind of weird cupcake or something.
Okay.
I mean, that's kind of what they are, but...
So, contests are back in this game. Contests were originally in Ruby Sapphire, and they were an okay enough minigame. Like, basically, instead of doing moves to fight with opponents, you're doing moves to show off the judges. And, you know, each move, instead of having a type like water or fire, have like an attribute like cool or cute or pretty or something like that.
Right.
And so, you know, they were neat. I felt they were a little bit like shallow, but they were a neat idea. They're back in this. I don't know how different the mechanics
They're
are.
basically the same.
It's kind of like them bringing more animal contest ideas into the Pokemon mythos, like dog
Yeah.
shows and that kind of thing.
Yeah, but in order to raise your cool, pretty, whatever stats, in Gen 3 you had Pokeblocks, which you could make. Here you have Poffins, which you make by swirling your touchscreen around really, really fast in a mini game and it wreck your screen.
Yeah, it's one of the prime touchscreen destroyers if you get into it because you know, it's the capacitive screen. You need to put some pressure on it, and you have to move it pretty quickly in order to spin it well enough.
Did the 3DS have non-capacitive touchscreen, like a better touchscreen that you didn't have to push down on?
No, it's basically the same touchscreen.
Oh.
Which, I mean, to be fair, the capacitive touchscreen does have the benefit of when you're using a stylus, it can be more precise than No, wait, no. Sorry, I've gotten my terms wrong. The DS touchscreen was resistive. Capacitive
right.
is the type of touchscreen that you have on like your cell phone and stuff, where you use your finger. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
The plus of using a resistive touchscreen is that you can be very, very precise with a stylus because you can point a very tiny thing. Whereas with capacitive, since it needs to like feel something that's like your finger, it's not as easy to be precise. So
it depends on how sensitive the screen is. Sometimes the touch screens on phones can be pretty damn sensitive. So like if your finger like brushes the edge of the screen when you're holding your phone, it'll still count it as touching something on the side. Yeah. And that's annoying.
Yeah, but your finger can't be inherently as precise as like a stylus though, because it's your finger and it's fat and ugly. So you know,
a lot of touch devices are like very specific about what they need to feel. Like you can't use them with gloves on, for some reason.
Which is it's very annoying because then you have to have like special touchscreen gloves, which means that those specific two fingers that they have like the special different kind of covering are just slightly colder than your other fingers, which is, you know.
Yeah.
Regardless, the Poffins would destroy your touchscreens.
Yeah, you just due to the way, in order to spin that fast, you had to put a lot of pressure on the screen, and so you would end up scratching it. Oh man, the Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games, some of those like destroyed your touch
Wow,
screen.
you know what? The Poffin thing makes this sound like a game that gives you some serious advantage for playing on an emulator.
You know, I don't know how well the emulator. Like, I mean, it's a side mode that you don't really get much for winning.
No, you don't. I just mean like, do it at all.
I just mean like when you play this part of the game and make your stupid Poffins, you could just hold down the mouse on the touchscreen portion and spin your mouse around.
Well, I mean, if you're emulating it, you have access to Game Shark codes, so you can just spoof.
Well, yeah, but that's not why people emulate games. They emulate games so that they can actually play them.
Well, I mean, but if you're emulating, if you're hypothetically emulating anyway, I'd rather just, you know, get them without having to do, because the minigame's pretty slow, and you get like one.
It takes forever.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, you know, you could do it without destroying your touchscreen, because you don't have a touchscreen to destroy.
I suppose.
Okay. Gen 4, completely irrational rant right now. Gen 3 had two ghost types that they added. Well, there might have been more, but there were two main ones, Duskull and Shuppet. Shuppet's way cooler than Duskull. Duskull sucks. Okay? And they gave Duskull Duskull got a third evolution in this one for some reason, but Shuppet, no, Shuppet doesn't get a third evolution. What the hell? We had to wait.
You got Mega Banette.
Yeah, 2 gens later. That's like a good 5+ years, man. And Mega Banette also looks dumb. So like the Gen 4 sucks. It's bad and dumb, and it should die in a fire.
But you got an evolution for Miss Magus.
You see, Miss Magus is one of the ones I don't really like, though. It's not the worst one out of the new evolutions, but
Licky is the worst one.
Licky is pretty bad. Yeah, like it's not the worst. I'm not really a huge fan of the hat being a witch's hat. Like it's a little.
Why did she pop back in to tell you that this was her final Pokemon?
Because it was her final Pokemon. I don't know, but I mean I don't know. It's hard for me. The hat is a little bit weird for me because there are other Pokemon.
It's kind of like a witch ghost.
Yeah, it's not the worst. I don't really like it. Honchkrow.
Witch's ghost. Scooby Doo.
Honchkrow, I think, is like legitimately dumb looking because it's like this weird dapper crow thing that just doesn't fit with the previous one. I'm just not a big fan of that one. Oh my god, we're at the point where they can start healing themselves.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Don't you have the Thief TM by this point in the game?
I think so. Yeah, fuck your healing.
I'm pretty sure that does more damage than Pursuit.
I think it does the same amount as Pursuit.
Hold on. Oh boy, because
it sure is nice to be playing Pokemon battles against something other than a Black Void, though.
Yeah.
Although it does create a weird sort of issue where when Pokemon fight and they faint, they fall through the floor.
It's 20 power higher, so it's slightly better, I guess. Pursuit has the added benefit of if they switch, it does more damage, but you're fighting the AI and they never switch, so you're not gonna get that benefit anytime soon.
Wait, Defog?
The worst HM ever.
The best HM in the series. There's a foggy root, and then you can make the root not foggy anymore.
And use it one time in the entire game.
A singular foggy root. Okay. All right.
It's one of those.
It's one of them trying to railroad you.
Does it have any goddamn battle use at all?
I don't think it in Gen 4. I think it was one of the. I think it didn't really. But they buffed it at one point where it got rid of entry hazards. Which, oh my god, if we're gonna talk about competitive Pokemon, Stealth Rock.
Stealth Rock everywhere.
Stealth Rock is like one of the most controversial moves in Pokemon because it sets up a trap. So if you switch in a Pokemon, if you use the move Stealth Rock, the enemy's side of the field will have a trap on it, and if the enemy switches Pokemon, that Pokemon takes damage. This kind of move has been in the series since at least Gen 2 with Spikes. So, it's just like they take a little chip damage when they bring in. The thing about Stealth Rock, though, is that it's a Rock-type move, so it does more damage when you switch in Pokemon that are weak to Rock. And it can do, basically, I think for something like Charizard, which is Fire Flying and thus 4 times weak to Rock, then it will do, half of its health just by being switched in. And the only moves that can get rid of it are Defog and Rapid Spin, as far as I can remember. There might be another one, but there's 3 or 4 moves tops. And they're not good moves otherwise. So it basically made a good couple dozen Pokemon pretty much worthless because they're neutered as soon as you get in. Everybody used Stealth Rock because it was really, really good. Everybody still uses Stealth Rock because it's really, really good. There's the Gigantamaxing that's in Sword and Shield. One of the Pokemon's special moves for Gigantamaxing is a Hydro Pump move that also sets up Stealth Rock. So, balance. That's great. I hate it.
Wow. So you're really making me want to get back into multiplayer Pokemon right now.
Why?
That was sarcasm.
Oh, okay. But I mean, Pokemon's never been balanced. It just has never. It never has been. It's,
No, and
Yeah.
that's why one of their excuses of no national decks is we want to focus on balance. It's like, it's not going to be balanced, guys. You both know. You know it.
It's not. It's not, and it never has been. So I
There
mean,
was at least a time when you could roll a decent group of Pokemon and have a fun time just with your strategy.
like in Gen
But-
2 and 3, I think, those games aren't balanced, but I'd say at least half of the Pokemon, like if we're talking fully evolved, were viable. Not that they would win a tournament match or whatever, but you
could
you
have
could
a
use
decent
them.
match with people with them, you know?
Yeah, but I mean, we're almost at the end of the part, and I'm sure that we will talk. We haven't even touched on physical special split at all, so we'll get into that.
It's just, the thematic story element about making friends with your Pokemon and connecting with them is kind of undermined when the actual competitive element attached to it is based on,
Yeah.
like, one or two really insanely
Yeah.
good strategies.
Yeah, you know what? That's actually something that's been bothering me about Pokemon a lot because again, like you said, the main story is about building these bonds with these Pokemon that you love. And then if you're trying to do a competitive team, the Pokemon team that you cared for so greatly for in your team goes either into the box or is just released, and then you go and you grind for the ones with the best stats, which is like not the point of the story mode.
Strong
Yeah.
Pokemon, weak Pokemon.
It's just like that's a distinction made by the programmers because this one has best IVs and this one has minimum IVs. That Pokemon will never be as good as that Pokemon. Don't even try. So,
Yeah.
yeah. And I mean, they're not going to. I mean, I don't know how the fan base would react if they got rid of at least IVs. Like, I mean, I think people would get upset if you got rid of EVs and natures because that's a way you can customize your Pokemon to what you want them to do. But I feel like nobody would be super upset if they got rid of IVs. That's just my guess. I wait the
Yeah,
comment section
you
telling me
just
I'm
breed
wrong.
until you get perfect IVs, and then you just go from there.
Yeah, but that takes like 2 hours each. If you happen to be lucky enough to already have a perfect IV Ditto as well. So, meh.